Hi everyone, welcome to the Capitol Theatre and the JASSO Pinnacle Concert 2025. Before I go any further, normally I don't like to tell people when I'm having a sore throat or cough, but I have to tell you this for two reasons. One is later when y'all are socializing outside at the bar, I'm afraid I cannot join you. The second reason is because some of you may be wondering why my voice is more sexy today. So now you know. Okay. We'd like to welcome everyone here, especially our guest of honor, Minister for Health, Mr. Ong Ye Kang, and his wife, Mrs. Ong, for gracing this occasion. And
thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Minister. Also, please join me to welcome our honorary chairman and co-founder, Mr. Albert Chu. Our chairman of the board, Dr. Edmund Lam. And our board members, Ms. Karen Chan, Ms. Sally Liew, Mr. Christopher Chua, and our fundraising and gala committee members, Ms. Cho Pelin and Mr. Patrick E. Thank you for being here. Thank you. We're really very pleased also to welcome the Finnish ambassador to Singapore, His Excellency Mr. Juha Makinen. Thanks for being here. The French ambassador, His Excellency Mr. Stefan Machicio. Thank you so much. The Indonesian ambassador, His Excellency Mr. Suryo Pratomo. The Japanese ambassador, His Excellency Mr. Hiroshi Ishikawa. Thank you so much. We also welcome officials from the Brazilian and Italian embassy. Today's show is made possible by our key donors, the Composers and Authors Society of Compass, EFG Bank, and Sembawang Corporation or Semcorp. So we welcome them tonight and their guests, and we also like to thank the support from the government, from the MCCY Cultural Matching Fund, the National Arts Council major grants. So thank you all of you for supporting us and allowing us to be here. Thank you. We were last year in the Capitol Theatre to perform our Pinnacle Concert in January 2023 with the great singer Laura Fiji, and we're really happy to be back. Now this year, the Pinnacle Concert is very special because it represents a celebration of Singapore jazz compositions to celebrate SG60. So at the Jazz Association, our repertoire is like a triangle. At the base, we play our Singapore folk songs in the jazzy style. We go out to the communities. And then at the mid-level of our triangle, we play songs by Frank Sinatra or Nat King Cole, or the younger people will say Michael Bublé and Lionel Kroll, same songs anyway. And at our pinnacle, we try to play the most sophisticated repertoire, new commissions, as well as more difficult arrangements of jazz standards and our folk songs, because we want to kind of say where we are as the Jazz Association orchestras, where we are against the rest of the world, and try to plot our position in the world, the state of our art, so to speak. Now, this year, it's very special because our vice chair and chairman of the Gala Fundraising Committee and the Fundraising Committee of the Jazz Association came out with a brilliant idea a few years ago. She said, why not we offer people to commission songs, make a donation, just like the old days of Beethoven and Wagner, you know? It was the aristocrats and people who commissioned composers to write songs. So bringing back that idea, we reached out and we were so surprised. We got in the first 2 years about 15 commissions, and not only was it a great fundraising mechanism, I'm so surprised at the level of the compositions, especially by our younger jazz musicians in Singapore. So now we'd like to start the concert by talking about our first song. Sorry, today I have no teleprompter because I wanted to just do it more informal. And the first tune is composed by our guitarist, Jolie. It was commissioned by one of our board directors, Miss Karen Chan, and dedicated to her dad, Mr. John Chan. Her dad used to fetch her to school all the time. It was arranged by American arranger C.J. Rhen, who's known very recently for his very effective tutorial videos on YouTube. I'd like to invite Joe to talk about his composition and his process in writing it. Joe, go ahead.
Hello, testing. Oh, all right. Sorry, I rarely get the chance to come up here to speak. Usually the guitar will be just like over there doing its thing. Anyway, my name is Jolie, and thank you, Jeremy, for introducing me. As you heard, the first song of the night coming up, it's a composition of mine, and it's commissioned by Karen Chan for her dad, John Chan, and it's going to be arranged by CJ Rhen. And for this composition, the title is called The Chauffeur. And I believe that it was named so because John kind of got that nickname within the family for driving his grandchildren a lot. I believe 5 grandchildren, 3 in Singapore, 2 in Hong Kong. So he was always getting toys for them and everything. So I think that's sweet. And I was told that John, he was someone that they could rely on a lot. He's kind of like the long-suffering dad kind of person, and that he carries a lot on his shoulders, always a problem solver. I don't know whether this rings any bell to anybody that you guys know. But yeah, so I think Karen and family wants to show their appreciation to him through this piece, and also to let him know that he's not taken for granted. So based on my understanding of his personality, I thought it was like very bright and colorful. That's how I approach composing the tune in terms of the harmony and the melody. And I was also communicated that they want like not too much of an introspective or modern kind of composition. So I went for more of like a 1920s, 1930s kind of traditional Broadway approach where those pieces would be maybe sung by vocalists like Ella Fitzgerald in front of a swinging big band. So yeah, that was my approach. I hope all of you guys enjoy this first tune that we're going to bring you. And more importantly, I also hope that Karen and John would enjoy this piece a lot, because really this piece is for them. Yep, thank you.
Jolie. So now we would like to move on to the next composition. It's called Sunshine for Olivia, and also commissioned by Karen Chan. Thank you, Karen, for your wonderful and generous commissions and donorship. It was commissioned by her for her daughter, and it's composed by a young scholar, Singapore Jazz Association scholar, now studying in New York for his degree in New York. We're really very proud of him and all the scholars. So we're very, very excited because, Jazz Association Singapore has sent more than 10 people to study for their bachelor's or master's degrees in Singapore and in the US. So we're very proud of that. Thanks to all of you donors. This is for Olivia. It's called Sunshine for Olivia. And I think there's a video we'd like to play for you. Sean from New York has a message for us.
Greetings, my name is Sean Hongwei and I'm a Singaporean saxophonist currently based in New York now. And I am studying at the New School with the help of the Jazz Association scholarship. And yeah, this tune is entitled Sunshine for Olivia, and it's commissioned by Karen Chan for her daughter Olivia. And yeah, from the talk I had with Karen, Olivia loves being around people and also loves to dance and sing. So I wrote this tune with that in mind, to try and portray what she described Olivia to be as. Yeah, this tune will be arranged by Germaine Goh, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
That's Sean, and I think Germaine goes in the audience, our arranger. Where are you, Germaine? Where? Can we put on the lights so we can see Germaine? Where are you? No? Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So, big hand for our arranger, Germaine. Very important also. So here's Sunshine for Olivia. How about that? Sunshine for Olivia, Sean Hongwei, Germaine Go. So, most of the compositions we are playing tonight are instrumentals, except for two songs. One of them, the donor, requested if she and a friend could write lyrics for it, so we of course let her do it. And the very last song of the concert also, I decided that the song I wrote needed to address the times we live in now. And so those are the two songs that have lyrics. The next song we'd like to do for you is called Love in All the Small Places. And it was commissioned by Susan and Adrian Pei and dedicated this song to their children, namely their daughter Melissa and her hubby Alvin, their son Bertrand and daughter Desiree. Bertrand recently got married and he's here with his bride Tessa. We would like to dedicate tonight's performance to Bertrand and Tessa and congratulate them on their recent nuptials. Where are you, Bertrand? Where are you? Okay, stand up and take a bow. The newlyweds. It was composed by Jazz Association Singapore Senior Associate Music Director Weixiang Tan, and also arranged by him. Weixiang, please tell us a little bit about your process and the song, please. And I'll leave Weixiang to start and conduct this tune as well. Weixiang, ladies and gentlemen.
Of course. Yeah, so like Jeremy mentioned, this song was commissioned by Susan and Adrian Pei for their children. And they wanted something, very heartfelt, very simple, right, for their children whom they love very, very dearly. And as a parent myself, I was like thinking, what does love for your children actually mean? And for me, the answer was very, very clear, right? The answer was like, love can be in grand gestures, but most importantly are the small, tiny things that you do on a daily basis, asking like, how's that day? Have you eaten? Right? How are you doing? Things like that. So that's why I named this song Love in the Very Small Places. Hope you like it.
Weixiang Tan. So, Weixiang is actually a lawyer by profession. But of course, he decided it's more lucrative for him to become a jazz musician. Well, to make up for the lack of income, he has opened a cafe. And of course, you know, F&B is also another great profession to go into. Weixiang actually has a really interesting cafe. It's a pet cafe, so you go there with your dogs, and you hang out, and you drink and get drunk, and your dogs. I don't think the dogs can get drunk. It's called Goodbye George, right? Where is it? Robinson Key, ladies and gentlemen. So go and support Goodbye George. Bring your dogs. How's everybody doing? Okay. Okay. Normally I'm the one that gives you all the energy, right? But today, we're struggling with my bronchitis. I need you guys to give me the energy, okay? So how are you doing today? All right. And please keep that going all night for me, all right? Okay, so now we're going to bring on the next song written by a young composer by the name of Ernest Tan, who's also a very talented guitarist. He's also a Jazz Association Singapore scholar, and they graduated from LaSalle, a college of music here in Singapore. And actually, his composition, I was really astonished when I first received the demo because it reminded me so much of one of my favorite composers, Henry Mancini. So it's very lyrical style and a really wonderful composition. Ernest is here today, so we'd like to invite him to come up and join us and tell us about his song. Where are you, Ernest? Come on. Please use this non-infected microphone.
Hello. Thank you, Jeremy. I was commissioned from Renee Tan to do this composition in dedication for her granddaughter, Kara, who I believe at that point of time was 9 years old, her granddaughter. So one of the things that struck me most about the information that I got from her was about, her wanting to dedicate this to her granddaughter, and that kind of served as the main inspiration for this composition. It kind of made me reflect a little bit about, a mother's love for a child, but in this case, a grandmother's love for a child. So I composed this ballad entitled "My Wish for You," hoping to reflect a mother's hopes and wishes for their child as they grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernest. Thank you so much for your composition. Okay. This song was arranged by Michael Veerapen, the well-known jazz pianist from Malaysia. Here's "My Wish for You." That's Liew Joe. So no, the trombone is not so often featured in most ensembles. But this time, this is almost going to be like Leo's concert, okay? And talking about more lucrative ways of making a living, Liew actually has been working on designing helicopters and commercial drones. But of course, jazz, much more lucrative. So, Liew, thank you for contributing your talents. Before I go on, this next song. Okay, this next song is composed by me, right? Oh, by me. It's the donor, and who's a director on the board of the Jazz Association Singapore, Mrs. Sandra Chang, and her husband Julian Chang, wanted to dedicate this song to a close friend of Sandra's. Her name is Dolores Mantegaza, of the famous Mantegaza family, one of the largest travel agent groups in Europe. After describing Dolores to me, I kept thinking about the French Riviera, and later on I also found out that Dolores loved sailing and cruising, and in fact, her company owns many of the wonderful river cruises that you can take in Europe from on the Rhine and so on. So I wasn't too far off when I wrote this song in the style of a French chanson, Waltz, and it's again beautifully arranged by Germaine. Here's Waltz for Dolores. Thank you, Weixiang. And thank you, Germaine, for the great arrangement. Thank you. Okay, so the next tune is also something that I composed, was commissioned by a young businessman, Chiang, and he asked me to write this tune and dedicate it to his family. Describe how he appreciated family very much. He said that he liked tulips and he represented the love of his family, so he suggested we call this song My Tulip and dedicated it to symbolize the everlasting love in his family. This song is arranged by Germaine Go. Here's My Tulip. Oh, sorry. This is Chok, our associate music director, who will conduct this piece. Oh, I'm playing, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kerong. That was my Tulip. Are you all enjoying the songs? Thank you so much. And you could have your own song. You could all go to the Jazz Association jazzassociation.sg website, and you can then try to write to us, and we will be happy to get one of our composers to write a song to dedicate to your mom or your dad or your children, and celebrate a marriage and whatever special occasion, okay? And every single bit of donation that you donate to commission these songs, you can get a 250% tax deduction. No, I'm not kidding. No, seriously, I'm not kidding. We work very hard with IRAS to do this, Yeah. So if you donate $100,000 for a song, you can deduct $250,000 from your taxable income. And you guys still think I'm joking. I'm not joking. Okay? All right, so the next tune we'd like to do for you is written by a young scholar. Her name is Miss Liew, one of the most promising and talented jazz pianists to emerge in Singapore in recent years. She did this exponential jump in her playing ability, and then she decided to apply for a scholarship to study for her master's degree in jazz studies at Queen's College in New York, and she applied for a Jazz Association Singapore scholarship, which she got, and she wrote this next song. It's called Toby Boy, and it's actually the donor is our former cabinet minister and also Speaker of Parliament in Singapore, former Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Abdullah Tarmugi. He also serves as the director and treasurer of the Jazz Association Singapore for some years. He recently stepped down, but remains very connected and very supportive of jazz. He dedicated this song to his grandson, Toby. So both Mr. Abdullah and Toby are studying the cello together. So wonderful activity for a grandfather and a grandson to do together. We have a video from Angie, all the way from Brooklyn. So let's listen to Angie.
Hi, my name is Angie, and I'm a Jazz Association of Singapore scholar. This composition, Toby Boy, is commissioned by Mr. Abdullah for his 10-year-old grandson, Tobias. Tobias plays the cello, and one of his favorite classical pieces is In the Hall of the Mountain King, which inspired this composition. Please enjoy this big band rendition of Toby Boy. Thank you.
All right, Angie's song, Toby Boy. By the way, Angie wrote this arrangement, which is really astonishing. And what's more astonishing after we get to the end of this is this her first maiden big band arrangement. So very, very exciting. Here's Toby Boy. Yeah. PNG. How about a wonderful solo by Adrian on the trumpet? And how about a wonderful saxophone solo? They play so well together. Yeah. So we got one more song to go and then we'll take a break, right? Yes, one more song to go and then we'll take a break. Of course, we specially arranged for the hotel next door, Kempinski, to set up a bar outside, which is good for you because, you know, the more you drink, the better we will sound. So this next tune is written by Chok, and it's one of the two vocal tunes of this. It was commissioned by Miss Yeoh Sweet Tuan, who's a big supporter of jazz and the Jazz Association. She's the mom of one of our regular donors and also a member of our fundraising committee, Miss Cho Pelin. Pelin, you're here, right? Yeah, all right. And your mom also, right? All right. So then Pelin said, can we get someone to write lyrics? And so she got the professional singer and lyricist Michelle Poh to write lyrics together with Pelin. And this is a tune that's composed by Chok, and we're going to let him talk about the song a little bit. And then Kerong is going to conduct this song, and then we'll let you out for a break. Okay? Thanks so much. Thank you so much.
Good evening. I hope you're enjoying the music so far. We are so glad to have all of you here. And to be able to play this music for you is really a wonderful privilege. The song that I wrote is entitled Stars of My Heart. And it is a dedication from Miss Yeoh to her grandchildren. And I think the lyrics that Miss Michelle Poh and Miss Cho Pelin worked on together really helped to communicate this message of love to one's grandchildren, and I think it also communicates the hope that their lives will be full of joy and love from family, and all those things that we consider to be universally valuable to us. And this song is written with a very heavy Brazilian influence, and I've also, because I arranged it, I also managed to take advantage of the many instruments that our woodwind section plays. You see, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Everyone's tripling, quadrupling, and working very hard. So I think they deserve a big hand, don't you think? The big band, the potential for musical invention is really limitless with the amount of colors that we have. So we hope you enjoy this. This is Stars of My Heart. And I also like to welcome our guest vocalist, Miss Vanessa Shavonne, to the stage to sing this.
I'm waiting right
How about a hand for Vanessa, Shavonne?
Thank you.
And composer Chok, and lyricist Cho and Michelle Po. Thank you very much. Going to take a short break. We'll see you in just a while. 20 minutes. Thank you.
Hi everyone, how you guys doing? Okay? Wow, I see you have your drinks. We should sound better very soon. Very well done. So, thanks for coming back. That's a good sign. You have free will over here, so I'm very encouraged. We are very encouraged that you decided to come back. Thank you. Before we go on, it's going to be my pleasure now. Please allow me to introduce all the wonderful musicians on stage playing for you. On the tenor saxophone, Mr. Andreas Marinello. Alto saxophone, Vincent Tan. Our lead alto player, Mr. Julian Chan. Julian Chan also leads his own jazz orchestra, the Julian Chan Jazz Orchestra in Malaysia, so when you're there, please look them up. This gentleman and I have been making music for 40 years. 40. And 75 years ago, both our dads worked in the police force together. Mr. Stephen Rufus. Playing so many instruments that if I say all the instruments, we'll be here till next Wednesday. From Thailand, Udom Kiat Tivikrai. On the bass trombone, I have a very soft spot for bass trombone. It's a wonderful sound. He really gives us the, I better don't say that word, the, you know. Anyway, Alvin Tan. Also on trombone, Muhammad Firdaus. And playing those beautiful solos and melodies, Liew. And also an old friend playing together for many years together, Tan Tiam Hee. On trumpet from Malaysia, Eddie Wen. I still haven't learned to pronounce his name properly, but I'll try. From Thailand, our lead trumpet player, Tegrit Rungrot. Also known as Jigsaw. Our senior orchestra manager, librarian, and the guy that keeps us all in step, our regimental sergeant major, Benny Go. And someone who's smart enough to not make jazz his main job, but his secondary job, he's an architect, Dan Wong. On the bass, he plays electric bass, he plays acoustic bass, he plays classical, he plays pop, he plays jazz, Mr. Eugene Chu. And on the drums, this gentleman is also, he also plays with a lot of the pop artists in the region. How about a hand for Mr. Yap Ting Wei? Composer, guitarist, Jolie. On the percussions, he and I have played many places around the world together. He's really world-class. He's played with the Gypsy Kings, Randy Crawford, etc., etc. How about a hand for Muhammad Noor? Our associate music director, composer, arranger, pianist, Chok Kerong. And our senior associate music director, composer, arranger, pianist, Weixiang Tan. And before someone says, who the hell are you? My name is Jeremy Monteiro. My son is tired of me telling that joke over and over again. Where's Gary's here, right? Where's Gary? Gary Monteiro, where? There, my cousin Gary Monteiro is here. He also just got married. How about a hand for him and his new wife? Music does make the world go round, and music makes babies. So, Minister, you should, encourage more music listening so that people will make more babies, right? This next song I composed for song commissioner and donor, Miss Sally Liew, who's also a board director of the Jazz Association. She dedicates this song to her husband, Mr. Nyo Kakiat. Now, most of the time we had briefings either on Zoom by the commissioners or we would meet them for coffee or something. But with Sally and Kakiat, we actually drank wine. I won't say how many bottles of wine yet. But there was so much inspiration from the conversation with them that I wrote not one but two songs. So this song and the last song of the concert. Speaking to them, they were talking about how the happiness that we find in life is really from within. And so this composition that I like to play for you is called The Happiness Within. And it also marks my return to writing for big band, because I had not written for maybe more than 10 years. But last year I decided to go back to school and study orchestration again and film scoring, and took a postgraduate diploma. And so it's wonderful to continue to learn, I was 64 years old when I went back to school. And I wish the government would give credits to study overseas, not just locally also. So when I studied in a school in Bulgaria, and it was fantastic. So here's a song that I wrote and arranged. This is called The Happiness Within.
Thank you so much. And the happiness within. Okay, the next tune is also written by Sean Hongwei, our scholar in New York now. It's arranged by Weixiang Tan, and it was commissioned by Miss To Gia Hong, who's the CEO of EFG Bank Singapore, who's a big supporter of jazz in Singapore. She dedicated it to her husband, Wong Kok Kit, and of course, Sean is here to tell us a little bit about the song on the video.
Hi, my name is Sean Hongwei, and I'm a Singaporean saxophonist currently living in New York. And I go to the new school with the help of the Jazz Association Scholarship. This tune is entitled Strutting Through Live Review, and it's commissioned by Ji Hong, and it's dedicated to her husband, Wong Kok Kit. And she mentioned that her husband is a good father and a good husband and a good son-in-law, and he's also witty and humorous. And so I wrote this tune with that in mind, and I hope you enjoy this tune. This tune will be arranged by Weixiang Tan, and yes, enjoy. Thank you.
Yeah, Sean Hongwei's wonderful tune. Strutting to life, through life with you, arranged there by Weixiang and conducted by him as well. So the next tune is something that I composed for commissioners and donors, Adrian and Susan Pei, and they dedicated this song to their beautiful mom and dad, Mark and Mary. And Adrian and Susan send their everlasting love to them. It's beautifully arranged by Weixiang Tan, who also conduct the piece. This is called the Forever Waltz. Enjoy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Weixiang. So, you know, we musicians, we jazz musicians, we do this because we really love this music. We do this because of our passion. Because, you know, what's the secret on how do you become a millionaire playing jazz? You start off as a billionaire. That kind of explains the dedication that all of the musicians here have for this music that we love so much. And you know, actually in Singapore, I'm really proud to be a Singaporean because in the US, they spend $2 plus per capita for the arts. In Singapore, we spend $90 per capita. And that's because the government realizes how important the arts is to Singapore. And one wonderful goodie that was in this year's budget is that the government is giving every Singaporean and permanent resident $100 to go and buy concert tickets or go and visit museums or art galleries. So please look for that money, it's there. Or July, I think. And please spend it and come and spend all your money coming to Jazz Association concerts. Also, if you would like to support us, the Jazz Association Singapore, we are a charity, and don't laugh when I tell you that you get 250% tax deduction. This is the QR code. Someone can flash the QR code to make a donation. I'll give you 15 minutes to scan and put your credit card in and all that. So anyway, I'm just kidding. Just take a photo of that and later you can help us out. And if you want to give us some comments on how we can improve, I must apologize to the people in the circle for the lights that were shining in your face in the first half of the concert. We didn't realize. And now, is it better now? Okay. So that one you don't have to put in your feedback form. We got it. But this is our feedback form QR code. Someone has it? Okay, never mind. There it is. If you like, no, this one. Well, my team wants donations, okay? So, okay, QR code for feedback. Okay, we'll show it to you to end the concert then, okay? Let's get on with the music. This next tune, I was very, very touched when I was invited by a very prominent doctor and a philanthropist in Singapore, Dr. Marianne Chow. We spent an afternoon talking about her late husband, who taught her to appreciate jazz. He was an African American and they lived in New York together. And he taught her to appreciate Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker. His name was Bennett Robinson, and he had passed away. And she asked me if I could write a song in memory of him. And he explained how, despite all odds, you know, back in the day, not that easy for an African American to reach the heights that he reached. So Bennett Robinson was a physicist and always followed his own way, his own path. And so I wrote a song in memory of Marianne's husband, Bennett. This is called Follow Your North Star, arranged by C.J. Rhen. Enjoy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kerong. Wow, time goes fast when you're having fun. We have 3 more songs to go. This next song is also commissioned by Susan and Adrian, and they wanted to commemorate an anniversary that they had and wanted the song to be perennial, so they decided to subtitle this song. It's called An Ode to Love. And I gave the title Together Forever, and they added An Ode to Love. It's arranged by Michael Veerapen. This is called An Ode to Love. Thank you so much. And the penultimate song of the concert is a song that was commissioned by a friend who often shows up at jazz gigs all over Singapore, a great jazz supporter. It's very important. People say, I am a jazz fan. You ask, when's the last time you went to a jazz gig? Cannot remember. So please show up. We love to see you. And Liew Keong, he always shows up at our jazz gigs and we really appreciate it. So how about a hand for Keong, our donor and commissioner, jazz fan? This song is written by Weixiang, and I'll let him talk about the inspiration and the process of working with Keong for this song.
All right, man. Yeah. So this is a very special one for me because, over many instances of meeting and talking to Keong, we became friends. And when it came to the opportunity to work with him in this commission, I wanted to do something very special for him. So, and he had a very interesting, very touching request. So. He received a very special gift from his father when the father was traveling to Sweden, and it was like a little bear, right, when he was a kid, and up till now, and he showed me photos. He still keeps a bear, and it holds a very, very special place in his heart, and I think we can all relate to that, right? Yeah. So. So I wanted to channel this whole. I grew up in the '90s, so to me, this whole idea of like a fantastical, magical, positive world is very close to Beauty and the Beast and a whole bunch of like Disney movies. So I wanted to channel something like that. Right, and Keong is a big Disney fan, so I think, that's like just right for him. So anyways, this song is called A Gift from Sweden, right? Keong, I hope you like this one, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, Weixiang. A gift from Sweden. And about a hand for Julian Chan on the saxophone. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the songs you've been listening. We have one more song for you before we call it a night. And you know, jazz is well and alive in Singapore, I think. Don't you think so? And jazz composition is also well and alive in Singapore, as evidenced by just the musicians from the related to the Jazz Association Singapore, and there's so many other talented musicians, some young musicians who are here also tonight from a group called the Jazz Links. They're all very young in their teens and early 20s, and they've organized themselves in an amazing way, and there are about 10 of them here tonight. How about a hand for the Jazz Links? Next year, the Jazz Association Singapore intends to actually help the Jazz Links in their endeavors as well, taking them into our family and still giving them the autonomy, because, you know, this Gen Z people, you can't tell them what to do, you know. Really. You'll have to let them do their thing. So, before we do our last song, we'd like to invite our honorary chairman, Mr. Elpichu, and our chairman, Dr. Edmund Lam, to present a token of appreciation to Minister Ong Ye Kung for coming and spending the evening here with us. Please, gentlemen. Thank you, Minister. Thank you so much. I'll just do the Thai Y, okay? Yeah, okay. Fist bump is okay. I don't want to get the Minister of Health sick, you know? Yeah, no, don't worry, the Jones won't reach you. Please. And here, we're presenting a vinyl album. Thank you. Musicians, can you all stand up? We take a photo with the minister together. Please stand up. Come, let's do a photo together. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you. Okay, we have one more song. The last song that we're going to do for you tonight was also commissioned by Miss Sally Liew and dedicated. I must tell you that the session that we had when they briefed me on what they wanted the songs to say, the first one, the happiness, and this one, we did it over 3 bottles of wine. I don't want to put them in a bad place. I drank 2 bottles, okay? I drank 2 bottles. Oh, my wife is here, but don't say it. Okay, so anyway, so they wanted to talk about how the world needs peace and love. And this is 2 years ago when we talked about it. And now more than ever, I think the world does need peace and love, right? And the song was an instrumental, but then I decided that I think I need to make the song stronger, and I wrote lyrics about 2 weeks ago. The song is called A Song of Peace and Love. And I'd like to invite one of our most talented young singers in Singapore to come and sing with us this song and close the concert out. Thank you so much for being here and supporting jazz in Singapore and supporting the Jazz Association Singapore. Thank you. How about a hand for Mr. Nick Xavier?
Today, when we look around, See sorrow all around the world still abounds. Strife, wars when children lose the joy and innocence. But we must never look away. We must do whatever that we can and will do today. We must stand and lend a helping hand to bring back peace and love. Together we must find a way, create a better day, do our parts to change the world. And soon you and I will see we can make a better place for humanity. One day soon, and if we join our hands and our hearts with our strength and do what we can, then the world will return to be a place of peace and love. place of peace and love, peace and love. So I sing the song to you, a song of peace and love.
Nick Xavier, ladies and gentlemen. Germaine Go for the wonderful arrangement. Thank you, Germaine. Chok, Kerong. Weixiang Tan. The Jazz Association Singapore Orchestra. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. I'd like to also, before we go, say a big thank you to our team, without whom we could not do this show. You've met all the musicians, our production director and sound engineer, Sunil Kumar. He and I have been working together for 25 years now. We've been everywhere in the world together. Also, Sean, our monitor engineer. Thank you, Sean. Audio resources, and also the presenting company for production, stage management, and front of house. And they coordinated the bar, so very important people. Yeah. Thank you so much, my team, our general manager, Seraphim Chong, and working very hard, getting all of you all seated and situated well. Our front of house and administration manager, Cheryl Seat. From all of us, thank you. Good night. Thank you. You guys, one more? Okay. But we ran out of originals. So, but we do have, actually, we've got another 10 commissions on the way, and we'll be releasing it in the form of concerts as well as recorded albums in the future. And so continue to commission the musicians of the Jazz Association to write songs and help us do the work that we do. The music making and art making is very important to us, but we do a lot of other work. We work with children with autism and Down syndrome. We also go out to the communities, give talks about jazz. We have our program that we want to share our future concerts with you. We have a first future concert. Abracadabra. Change screen to... Come on, guys, come on. Let's... Okay, with the musical that's composed and performed by the Jazz Association. This is our Jazz for Kids. This is our hottest concert. Okay, when we present jazz to children, and we always have like more than 100 people, parents bringing their children, and it's a wonderful play, a collaboration between the theatre group Act 3. And please bring your kids, your grandkids, and I'm sure you'll have a great time. Just look out for, it's called Will the Egg Hatch. It's composed by, music by Weixiang Tan, and the play by Act 3. And tickets are what? $1,000? No, only $25. Okay, so please go to jazzassociation.sg and find out more. And the next thing, we are celebrating UNESCO International Jazz Day, once again at the Botanic Gardens Symphony Stage on 27 April. This is our youth orchestra, our young musicians. They do amazingly well, led by Weixiang Tan, who heads our youth development part of our organization as well. So please come and support us. It's a free concert, free. Excuse me, but I don't talk so much already. And lastly, our next show, my next show, I'll be celebrating my 65th birthday concert. Yes, I know I don't look it, but I am going to be. So it's on the 14th of March at the Esplanade, and wonderful guest musicians. JASSO will be playing as well, and musicians from a great bass player, one of the best in the world, Jay Anderson's coming to play, and many musicians. Luis Soliano, the former SSO co-leader, Lynette Sia will be there as well. So tickets are available at Cystic. Tickets for the Egg Hatch available at Book My Show. And tickets for IJD, no need, just come. All right, here's our closing song. It's by the great songwriter, Leon Russell. And I thought it would be nice to end this concert with this song, even though it's not on the original. It's called A Song for You, and once again features Nick Xavier. I'm conducting. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm conducting also. Here we go.
In my life and time, I've sung a lot of songs, I've made some bad rhymes, I've acted out my life in stages with 10,000 people watching. But we're alone now and I'm singing the song for you. I know what I'd hope to be. I treated you unkindly, but darling, can't you see? There's no one more important to me. Baby, can't you see through me? That we're alone now and I'm singing the song to you. Space or time. I love you for my life, you're a friend of mine. Darling, when my life is over, remember when we were together. We were alone now and I'm singing the song to you. There's no space or time. I love you for my life, you're a friend of mine. Darling, when my life is over, remember when we were together. We were alone now and I'm singing the song to you. We were alone now and I'm singing the song to you. We were alone, I was singing the song to you.
Xavier. JASSO, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night. See you again soon. Thank you. Good night. Thank you.